The Bible introduces Michael as more than just an angel. He is a powerful figure entrusted with extraordinary responsibilities. The prophet Daniel provides the first glimpse of Michael in the context of intense spiritual conflict. In Daniel 10, the prophet receives a troubling vision concerning the future of his people, Israel. Struggling to understand its meaning, Daniel fasts and prays for guidance. After 3 weeks, a divine messenger arrives with an explanation, but not without revealing the intense spiritual warfare behind the delay. The angel explains that he was resisted by the Prince of Persia, a demonic force opposing God's will. Only through the intervention of Michael, described as one of the chief princes, was he able to complete his mission, as recorded in the book of Daniel, chapter 10, verse 13. Michael's title here is significant. It denotes authority, strength, and a special role in God's heavenly hierarchy. He is not just a participant, but a leader, standing firm against spiritual adversaries who seek to thwart divine plans. In the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 1, Michael reappears, this time with a direct connection to the end times. He is referred to as the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people, clearly highlighting his protective role over the nation of Israel. This passage paints Michael as a guardian, someone who intervenes during moments of great distress to ensure deliverance for God's chosen people. His vigilance reassures faithful that God's care extends even into the unseen spiritual realms, providing protection and hope during trials. Michael's role as a protector also reflects God's character. He is not distant, but actively involved in preserving his people. Michael operates as a divine instrument, emphasizing that God's providence is both personal and powerful. His actions remind us that no matter how fierce the spiritual battles may seem, there is always a heavenly defense in place. This glimpse into Michael's story sets the stage for his greater role in God's overarching plan of redemption. The spiritual realm is not a passive backdrop. It is an active battlefield where forces of good and evil contend. Yet, with Michael standing as a defender, God's victory is assured, providing peace and confidence to all who trust in him. The book of Revelation takes us beyond the confines of earthly history, unveiling a celestial war that shakes the heavens. In the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verses 7 through 9, we witness Michael as the commander of heaven's armies, leading a monumental confrontation against the dragon, identified as Satan. This moment isn't just a vivid depiction of spiritual warfare, it's a declaration of God's ultimate authority over evil. The scene begins with Satan, described as a great dragon, instigating rebellion in heaven. Michael, the angelic warrior, rises to confront him. Alongside his angels, Michael battles fiercely against the dragon and his fallen allies. The intensity of the fight is beyond human comprehension, but the outcome is decisive. Satan and his forces are defeated and cast out of heaven. The verse declares the great dragon was hurled down, that ancient serpent called the devil, or Satan, who leads the whole world astray, as stated in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9. Michael's victory is more than a triumph in the heavens. It signifies the assurance of God's justice and the inevitability of his plan. Satan, once an exalted being, is now a defeated enemy, his power restricted to the earthly realm. This celestial battle serves as a turning point, marking the beginning of the end for evil. What's profound about Michael's role here is his reliance on God's authority. Unlike Satan, who sought power for himself, Michael operates as a servant of God's will. His obedience and trust in divine power remind us that the battle between good and evil is not fought through human strength or cunning, but through unwavering faith in God's sovereignty. This battle in heaven has direct implications for us on earth. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 12, warns of Satan's fury, knowing his time is short, but the victory of Michael and his angels assures us that the enemy's defeat is certain. The spiritual struggles we face are part of a larger cosmic story, one where God's forces are always at work to protect and guide his people. Michael's victory is a promise to everyone facing trials, doubts, or fears. It reminds us that the ultimate battle has already been won, and no scheme of the enemy can overcome the power of God. This truth empowers us to stand firm, knowing that heaven's greatest warrior fights on our side. One of the most intriguing and puzzling moments in the Bible involves Archangel Michael's brief but significant appearance in the book of Jude. In Jude chapter 1, verse 9, we find a strange and mysterious confrontation between Michael and Satan over the body of Moses. The passage reads, "But Michael the archangel, when he disputed with the devil and argued about the body of Moses, did not dare pronounce against him a railing judgment, but said, 'The Lord rebuke you.'" This is the only mention of this event in Scripture, making it all the more fascinating. The context of this incident is critical to understanding Michael's role. After leading the Israelites through the wilderness for 40 years, Moses died on Mount Nebo, just within sight of the Promised Land, as recorded in Deuteronomy, chapter 34, verses 5 through 6. God himself buried Moses, and no one knew the exact location of his grave. This mystery surrounding Moses' burial has raised questions for centuries. Why did Satan want to argue over Moses' body? What was at stake in this celestial dispute? One possible explanation lies in the significance of Moses as a leader and a symbol of God's covenant with his people. Satan, ever seeking to disrupt God's plans, may have wanted to claim Moses' body to further his rebellious cause. As the great lawgiver, Moses was pivotal in establishing God's relationship with Israel, and Satan might have seen his body as a trophy to distort the faith of God's people. By gaining control over Moses' remains, Satan could have used it to fuel idolatry or mislead the Israelites. However, Michael, embodying God's justice and authority, doesn't engage Satan directly in condemnation. Instead, he calls upon God himself to rebuke the adversary. This moment underscores the truth that even the greatest of angels, like Michael, submit fully to God's authority. Michael does not act on his own power or judgment, but acknowledges that only God can truly defeat the forces of evil. This humility and submission to God's will highlight the angel's role as a servant of the Most High, fighting not for his own glory, but for the fulfillment of God's plan. Furthermore, this brief confrontation teaches us about the power of trusting in God's authority. Michael, in his strength and power, does not engage Satan in a direct battle. Instead, he leaves the judgment to God. This is a profound lesson for us today. When we face spiritual challenges or temptations, we too can rely on God's authority and power rather than attempting to fight in our own strength. The mystery of Michael's dispute with Satan over Moses' body emphasizes that spiritual warfare is not always visible to us, but is very real. Even when we don't see it, angels like Michael are fighting on our behalf, and they do so under God's supreme authority. While Michael's role in the grand events of Scripture is awe-inspiring, his work as a protector is not limited to the end times or the great battles against evil forces. The presence of Archangel Michael is not just a distant promise for the future, but a comfort for us today, guiding and protecting us in our everyday struggles. The Bible makes it clear that God's angels, including Michael, are sent to help and protect his people. In Psalm 91, verses 11 through 12, we read, "For he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against a stone." This promise of divine protection extends beyond the grand visions of the apocalypse and into the quiet moments of our daily lives. God's angels, led by Michael, are there to guard us from harm, providing the shield we need in times of danger, temptation, and fear. Michael's role as a protector also serves as a reminder to us that we are never alone in our battles. Whether we are facing physical challenges, emotional turmoil, or spiritual battles, God has sent his angels, including Michael, to stand with us. The assurance that God's angels are actively involved in our lives is a source of great comfort. It reminds us that we do not have to fight alone or rely solely on our own strength. The protection of God, delivered through his angels, provides us with the courage to face the challenges ahead. In our modern world, where anxiety, fear, and uncertainty often seem overwhelming, the protection of Michael offers a sense of peace. Knowing that there is a divine force actively working on our behalf allows us to live with greater confidence, trusting that God's plan is unfolding perfectly. As we walk through each day, we can have the assurance that God is watching over us, sending His angels to protect and guide us. Furthermore, Michael's role as a protector calls us to be vigilant in our own spiritual lives. Just as Michael is prepared for battle, we too are called to be ready to stand firm in our faith. Ephesians 6, verses 11 through 13, encourages us to put on the full armor of God so that you can take your stand against the devil's schemes. This passage reminds us that while Michael is there to protect us, we must also actively engage in the spiritual battle, putting on God's armor and standing firm in our faith. Michael's protective role teaches us that God's care for His people is unwavering. His presence is a constant source of hope, helping us navigate the challenges of this life with confidence, knowing that we are never truly alone.